The brush struck the floor before anyone could stop it. The sharp crack echoed through the silent studio. Master O stared at the woman standing at his doorway, his hands trembling so violently that the bamboo brush rolled across the polished wooden floor and disappeared beneath an old cabinet. For 20 years, the man had never reacted to anyone. Collectors had offered him fortunes. Kings, presidents, celebrities, and billionaires had begged for a single painting. He had turned every one of them away without even opening his front gate. But now, one look at a young traveler from Ghana had stolen the breath from his lungs. "No," he whispered. His voice cracked. "No, it can't be." The young woman froze. She had expected directions. Maybe a polite apology for disturbing him. Instead, the old man's eyes filled with tears. "You!" He staggered backward. "Who are you?" The woman frowned. "My name is Ama Mensa." Master O shook his head violently. "No!" His breathing became uneven. "That's impossible." Outside the studio, hidden beyond the stone wall, someone quietly lifted a phone and began recording everything. Because if Master O had truly spoken to a stranger, everything the O family had protected for decades was about to collapse. Before we uncover why the greatest painter Korea had ever produced broke 20 years of silence for one traveler from Ghana, take a second to support Untold Afro-Korean stories. If stories that connect Africa and Korea through unforgettable mysteries are your kind of journey, like this video, subscribe, and tell us in the comments where you're watching from. Now, let's uncover the secret that should never have resurfaced. Nobody in Seoul expected anything extraordinary that rainy morning. Ama certainly didn't. She had spent the previous 6 months traveling across Asia with nothing more than a worn backpack, a camera with a cracked screen, and a notebook she filled with sketches and stories from every city she visited. Unlike the influencers crowding famous tourist spots, Ama chased forgotten places. She loved old markets, hidden temples, quiet villages, places where people still remembered stories that had never found their way onto the internet. That curiosity had brought her to an old neighborhood tucked between modern towers. A place where locals lowered their voices whenever someone mentioned one particular house. An elderly shopkeeper had noticed her staring at the narrow stone path leading uphill. "You shouldn't go there." Ama smiled politely. "Why?" The old man hesitated. "Some doors remain closed for good reasons." She laughed softly. "I'm only taking photographs." "No." His expression darkened. "You don't understand." He leaned closer. "That house belongs to a ghost." Ama raised an eyebrow. "A ghost? A living one?" The old man pointed toward the hill. "He still breathes. He still eats. But the man inside died 20 years ago." Curiosity immediately replaced caution. "Who lives there?" The shopkeeper looked around before answering. "Master O." Even tourists who knew nothing about Korean art recognized that name. His paintings hung inside museums across the world. Universities taught entire courses analyzing his brushwork. His earliest pieces had sold for amounts large enough to buy entire buildings. Then, he disappeared. No interviews, no exhibitions, no paintings, nothing. Rumors filled the silence. Some believed he had gone blind. Others claimed he had lost his mind. Some whispered he had made a promise never to paint again after a terrible family tragedy. Nobody knew the truth. Ama looked toward the house again. "What if I simply ask to meet him?" The old man actually laughed. "You would have better luck asking the moon to come down." "Has nobody ever succeeded?" "Thousands have tried. And they all left disappointed." Ama thanked him anyway. She wasn't chasing fame. She wasn't hoping for a painting. She only wanted a photograph of the famous studio hidden behind the stone walls. That alone would make an interesting page in her travel journal. The climb took nearly 15 minutes. The path grew quieter with every step. Birds stopped singing. Even the city noise seemed to disappear. The house finally appeared through tall pine trees. Simple, traditional, beautiful without trying to impress anyone. Its wooden gate stood slightly open. That surprised her. Every article she had ever read claimed nobody was allowed inside. She hesitated, then knocked gently. No answer. She waited. Still nothing. She pushed the gate open just enough to peek inside. Hello. Silence. I'm sorry for disturbing you. Nothing. She stepped into the courtyard. The place felt strangely untouched by time. Old stones. Ancient maple trees. A small pond where orange fish drifted lazily beneath lily pads. Then she noticed something unusual. One studio window stood open. Soft piano music floated outside. Someone was inside. Amma approached carefully. She stopped several feet away. An elderly man stood before an enormous blank canvas. His white hair reached his shoulders. His hands rested on the edge of a wooden table covered in untouched brushes. He wasn't painting. He was simply staring. Not at the canvas. Beyond it. As though he could still see something that had disappeared years ago. Amma spoke gently. Excuse me. The old man didn't move. She tried again. I'm sorry for interrupting. Nothing. She wondered if perhaps he couldn't hear her. She took one careful step closer. Then another. Finally, he slowly turned around. His eyes met hers. Time seemed to stop. The brush slipped from his fingers. His face drained of color. No! His whisper barely escaped his lips. Amma instinctively stepped backward. Sir! His breathing quickened. His eyes searched every detail of her face. Not with curiosity. With recognition. Recognition impossible between two strangers. He whispered again. It can't be. Amma looked behind herself. Was someone else there? There wasn't. He pointed at her with a trembling hand. Who are you? My name is Amma. What is your family name? Mensa. He closed his eyes. For several seconds, neither of them spoke. When he opened them again, tears rested quietly along his lashes. Come inside. Amma blinked. What? Please. His voice sounded almost desperate. Come inside. She hesitated. Everything she'd heard said this man never invited anyone into his studio. Never. Not even his own family. Yet now, he personally held the door open. As Amma crossed the wooden threshold, neither of them noticed the tiny camera lens hidden outside the window. The person recording smiled. So, the voice whispered, it has finally begun. If you're already trying to guess why Master O recognized Amma before she'd even introduced herself, drop your theory in the comments right now. Sometimes the best mysteries are solved by viewers before the truth is revealed, and some of your predictions might come closer than you think. Inside the studio, Amma looked around in disbelief. Paintings covered nearly every wall. None had ever been seen by the public. Portraits, landscapes, children laughing, old women praying, young couples embracing beneath cherry blossoms. Masterpieces the world didn't even know existed. Then her eyes stopped. One painting had been turned toward the wall. Unlike every other canvas, it had been hidden. Master O noticed where she was looking. His face tightened. Without saying a word, he walked over and covered it with a faded white cloth. You must never see that one. Amma frowned. Why? He looked directly into her eyes. Because if you do, his voice broke. Everything I sacrificed these past 20 years will have been for nothing. Outside, the hidden observer quietly made a phone call. They've met. A cold voice answered immediately. Then don't let her leave without finding out why she came. The line went dead. Amma had no idea that the moment she stepped into that studio, she had unknowingly become the center of a family secret buried for more than 2 decades. A secret powerful enough to destroy one of Korea's most respected dynasties forever. Amma stood in the center of the studio, unable to take her eyes off the cloth-covered painting. Master O noticed. You have curious eyes, he said quietly. I've been told that before. It gets people into trouble. She smiled. So I've also been told. For the first time in years, something that resembled a smile crossed the old man's face. It lasted only a second. Then it disappeared. He motioned toward a small wooden table. Please sit. Amma obeyed. The silence between them wasn't awkward. It felt heavy, as though both of them were waiting for the other to explain something impossible. Master O poured 2 cups of tea with trembling hands. His fingers shook so badly that a few drops spilled onto the table. "I'm sorry," he murmured. "You don't have to apologize. I've forgotten how to receive guests." Amma looked around. "I heard you haven't had visitors in a very long time." He laughed softly. "A very long time?" His eyes drifted toward the blank canvas. 20 years. The words hung in the air. Amma hesitated before asking, "Is it true? You haven't painted in all that time?" Master O looked at the untouched brushes. "No, not once. Not once." "But why?" Instead of answering, he asked a question of his own. "Why did you come here?" "I was exploring." "Only exploring?" "Yes. You weren't sent." "By who?" "The O family." "I don't even know your family." He studied her face carefully. Every blink, every breath, every tiny movement. Finally he leaned back. "If you're lying." "I'm not." "If you're telling the truth." His voice became almost inaudible. "Then fate has a cruel sense of humor." Amma frowned. "I don't understand." "I know." He lowered his eyes. "And I pray you never do." At that exact moment, a black luxury sedan stopped outside the estate gates. 3 people stepped out. They wore expensive suits despite the rain. The oldest among them carried himself with the confidence of someone accustomed to giving orders. He was O Jaemin, Master O's younger brother. For 20 years, he had managed the O family's business empire. Unlike Master O, Jaemin believed emotions were weaknesses. Results mattered. Legacy mattered. Reputation mattered. Everything else could be sacrificed, including family. One of the servants rushed toward him. "Sir." "Who entered the studio?" "A foreign traveler." "A collector?" "No." "A journalist?" "No." Jaemin narrowed his eyes. "Then why was she allowed inside?" "We don't know." His jaw tightened. "Master O invited her." For the first time in decades, O Jaemin looked genuinely alarmed. Inside the studio, Amma carefully picked up one of the unused brushes. She didn't realize what she'd done until Master O suddenly stood. His chair scraped loudly against the floor. She immediately put it back. "I'm sorry." "No." He took a slow breath. "You held it correctly." She blinked. "What?" "The brush. I sketch sometimes." "You've studied calligraphy?" "No." "Painting?" "No. My grandmother taught me little drawings when I was a child." Master O froze. "What did you say?" "My grandmother liked painting." "What was her name?" Amma smiled. "Akosua." The cup slipped from Master O's hand. It shattered across the wooden floor. Amma jumped. "Oh my God! Are you all right?" He didn't answer. His breathing became shallow. "Akosua?" He whispered the name as though it belonged to another lifetime. "You knew her?" Amma asked. Master O slowly looked up. "No." But his eyes said something entirely different. Before Amma could ask another question, loud footsteps echoed across the courtyard. A servant hurried inside. "Master!" He bowed quickly. "Your brother has arrived." Master O's face hardened instantly. "I told him never to come here. He insisted." "I don't care." "He says it's an emergency." Master O laughed bitterly. "He has called everything an emergency for 30 years. The servant lowered his voice. "He knows about the visitor." Silence. Master O closed his eyes. "So, they've been watching me again." Amma looked confused. "Watching you?" He didn't answer. Instead, he quietly picked up the broken porcelain pieces from the floor. "I hoped they'd wait longer." "Who?" "My family." "They're your family." He looked at her with tired eyes. "No, they're my prison." Before Amma could process those words, the studio doors slid open without permission. A tall man entered first. Behind him came 2 younger men dressed in identical dark suits. Their expressions never changed. O Jaemin stopped walking the moment he saw Amma. His eyes scanned her from head to toe, not with admiration, with calculation. "So," his voice was calm, "this is the woman." Amma stood politely. I'm sorry if I'm intruding. He ignored her apology. Instead, he turned toward his brother. You broke your own rule. Master O remained silent. You told the world no one would ever enter this room again. Still no answer. And yet, Jaemin glanced at Amma. You opened the door yourself. Master O finally spoke. Leave. I can't. Leave. This concerns the family. It concerns me. It concerns all of us. Master O stepped between Jaemin and Amma. She has nothing to do with this. Jaemin smiled faintly. Are you certain? I said leave. The younger brother slowly walked closer until the two men stood only inches apart. You looked at her the same way. Master O's expression changed. I don't know what you're talking about. You do. No. You looked at her exactly the way you looked at. He stopped himself. Amma noticed. Looked at who? Neither man answered. Jaemin turned toward her. What is your full name? Amma Mensa. Parents. They passed away when I was young. Grandparents. My grandmother raised me. What was her full name? Master O interrupted sharply. Enough. Jaemin ignored him. Amma hesitated. Akosua Mensa. The room became silent. One of the younger men exchanged a quick glance with the other. Jaemin's calm expression cracked for the briefest moment. Then he smiled again. I see. He reached into his pocket and handed Amma an elegant business card. If you need anything while you're in Korea. She accepted it politely. Our family would be delighted to help. Master O snatched the card from her hand before she could read it. No. His voice echoed through the studio. You will never contact them. Amma stared at him. The room felt suddenly dangerous. Jaemin chuckled. Brother, you frightened our guest. I know what you're doing. Do you? You always take what doesn't belong to you. Jaemin's smile vanished. And you always let emotions destroy everything. The brothers locked eyes. 20 years of resentment filled the silence between them. Finally, Jaemin adjusted his jacket. We'll speak again. No. We don't have a choice anymore. He looked directly at Amma one last time. Some people travel farther than they realize. Then he left. The studio doors closed behind him. Amma released the breath she'd been holding. What was that about? Master O slowly sat back down. I made a mistake. What mistake? I should have closed the gate. You don't mean me. No. His eyes drifted toward the entrance. I mean them. Outside the estate, Jaemin climbed into his car. One of the younger men spoke quietly. Sir, do you think it's really possible? Jaemin stared back at the old house. I buried that possibility 20 years ago. And now, he answered without hesitation. If she truly is connected. He looked down at the photograph secretly taken through the studio window. Then we finish what should have been finished a generation ago. If this story is pulling you deeper into the mystery, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to Untold Afro-Korean Stories. And tell us in the comments, do you trust Master O? Or do you think his brother is hiding an even darker truth? The answers are closer than they appear, but they're far more dangerous than anyone imagines. Back inside the studio, Master O slowly walked toward the white cloth covering the hidden painting. His hand hovered above it. For a long moment he said nothing. Then, almost to himself, he whispered, Akosua. His eyes filled again. I promised you this day would never come. Amma heard every word. And for the first time since entering the studio, she realized something chilling. Master O hadn't mistaken her for someone else. He had recognized someone. Through her, Amma's heartbeat quickened. She slowly stood from her chair. What did you mean by that? Master O didn't answer immediately. His eyes remained fixed on the cloth-covered painting. The silence stretched so long that Amma wondered if he had changed his mind. Finally, he spoke. Tell me about your grandmother. Amma frowned. You've asked about her several times. I know. Did you really know her? He looked away. I asked you first. Amma hesitated before sitting back down. There isn't much to tell. There always is. My grandmother didn't talk much about herself. What did she do? She taught children. In Ghana. Yes. Where? A village near Kumasi. Master O slowly closed his eyes. His fingers tightened around the edge of the table. And your parents? They died in an accident when I was 6. I'm sorry. I barely remember them. So your grandmother raised you alone? Amma nodded. She used to tell me strange stories. What kind? Stories about promises. Master O's breathing changed. What promises? Amma smiled faintly. I thought they were fairy tales. Tell me anyway. My grandmother always said that one day I would travel farther than anyone in our family ever had. Master O looked directly at her. And she used to laugh and say, when that day comes, don't be afraid if someone recognizes your face before they know your name. The old man's hands began shaking again. Amma noticed immediately. Sir, my grandmother never explained what she meant. Master O whispered. Of course she didn't. She only said there was an old promise waiting for someone. Amma stared at him. You know what that means, don't you? Instead of answering, Master O walked toward an old bookshelf. He reached behind dozens of dusty journals. Then he removed a small wooden box. It was worn with age. The corners had faded from years of careful handling. He carried it back to the table and placed it between them. I haven't opened this in 20 years. Amma looked at it curiously. What is it? My greatest weakness. He slowly lifted the lid. Inside rested faded letters tied together with blue thread. A silver necklace. An old photograph. And a folded piece of yellowed paper. Amma immediately recognized the photograph. Not because she knew the people, but because one of them looked astonishingly familiar. A young African woman stood beside a handsome Korean artist. They couldn't have been older than 25. The woman smiled brightly. The man wasn't looking at the camera. He was looking at her. Exactly the way Master O had looked at Amma. Amma picked up the photograph. Her hands froze. The woman, she had the same eyes, the same smile, the same cheekbones, even the same tiny birthmark beneath her left eyebrow. Amma whispered, She looks like me. Master O nodded. I know. Who is she? He answered without hesitation. Akosua. Amma's breath caught. My grandmother? Yes. She looked from the photograph to the old man, then back again. No. She shook her head repeatedly. That's impossible. My grandmother never came to Korea. Master O remained silent. She couldn't have. She did. No. She lived here. No. For almost 2 years. Amma laughed nervously. That's not true. It is. My grandmother would have told me. Master O looked down. She promised she never would. Amma slowly backed away from the table. This doesn't make sense. I know. You must have the wrong woman. I've never forgotten her face. But, she held up the photograph. Why do I look so much like her? Master O answered softly. Because you're her granddaughter. Before Amma could respond, loud knocking echoed through the studio. 3 hard knocks. Then 3 more. Master O's face darkened. They're back already. A servant hurried inside. Master! What is it? There are reporters gathering outside. Amma frowned. Reporters? Someone leaked that you've accepted a visitor. Master O looked toward the window. So it begins. Within an hour, the quiet street outside the estate had transformed into chaos. News vans lined both sides of the road. Photographers shouted questions over one another. Neighbors watched from behind curtains. No one could remember the last time anything happened at the O estate. One headline was already spreading across social media. Master O ends 20 years of silence for mystery woman. Inside the family headquarters across the city, Jamin calmly watched the news coverage. One of his advisors smiled. The media is doing exactly what we hoped. Jamin never looked away from the television. Good. They'll pressure her into speaking. They won't need to. You think she'll stay? No. What if she leaves Korea? Jamin smiled faintly. She won't. How can you be sure? Because curiosity is stronger than fear. He paused. And because my brother has already made the mistake I waited 20 years for. Back at the studio, Amma paced nervously. I should leave. Master O stood immediately. No. They're here because of me. They're here because of my family. I don't want to create problems for you. You already have. She looked down. I'm sorry. He sighed. I wasn't blaming you. Then what did you mean? Master O walked toward the blank canvas standing in the middle of the room. For 20 years it had remained untouched. He stared at it, then at Amma, then back again. I've spent 2 decades convincing myself I could keep a promise. He reached toward the brushes. His hand stopped halfway. Amma whispered, What are you doing? I don't know. You said you never paint. I don't. Then. He slowly picked up the brush. The entire room seemed to hold its breath. Even the servant standing near the door couldn't move. Master O dipped the brush into black ink. His hands stopped trembling. For the first time since Amma arrived, they became perfectly steady. Amma watched in disbelief. Sir, he whispered without looking at her. Stand by the window. What? Please. Confused, she walked toward the large wooden window where soft afternoon light poured inside. Master O raised the brush. He didn't study the canvas. He studied Amma, not as a stranger, not even as a model, as though he were searching for someone hidden beneath her face. The first stroke landed. A servant gasped. Another covered his mouth. Master O had painted. One line, then another, then another. The movement became effortless, fluid, graceful. The legendary artist who hadn't painted for 20 years suddenly moved with breathtaking speed. Amma barely breathed. He wasn't sketching her entire face. Only her eyes. Nothing else. Just the eyes. 5 minutes passed. 10. 15. Finally he lowered the brush. Silence filled the studio. Amma walked closer. What? She stopped speaking. The unfinished sketch looked exactly like her. Yet, not entirely. The eyes belonged to Amma. The expression belonged to someone older. Someone wiser. Someone carrying memories she had never lived. Master O whispered, I knew it. Amma turned toward him. Knew what? Before he could answer, a voice exploded from outside. Master O! Another followed. Open the door. Then, police! Everyone inside froze. Amma's eyes widened. The police! The servant rushed to the entrance and looked through a narrow opening. His face turned pale. There are officers outside. Master O frowned. For what? They say. The servant swallowed hard. They have a warrant to seize every painting inside the studio. Amma stared at him. What? Master O didn't look surprised. Instead, he looked disappointed. He quietly placed the fresh sketch on the table. I underestimated my brother. The front gate shook violently as fists pounded against it. Open immediately. Master O turned to Amma. His voice became calm. No matter what happens next. He carefully folded the unfinished portrait and pressed it into her hands. Don't let my family have this. Amma looked down at the sketch. Why? His answer sent chills through her entire body. Because that isn't your portrait. She slowly looked back up. What do you mean? Master O's eyes filled with grief. I just painted the face of a woman who died 20 years ago. If you're completely hooked by this mystery, take a moment to like this video, subscribe to Untold Afro-Korean Stories, and tell us in the comments. If you were Amma, would you hand the sketch over to the police? Or protect it, even without knowing why? Because in the next chapter, that single piece of paper will become the most dangerous object in all of Seoul. Outside, the gate finally burst open. Heavy footsteps rushed into the courtyard. And among the officers, walking in with absolute confidence, was Oh Jae-min. He wasn't there to stop the investigation. He was there to make sure one particular portrait disappeared forever. The first officer stepped into the studio with his hand resting near his belt. Behind him came 4 more. None of them spoke. None of them looked at Amma. Their eyes went straight to the paintings covering the walls. Then Oh Jae-min walked in as though the studio belonged to him. His polished shoes stopped just inside the doorway. He slowly scanned the room. His gaze landed on the fresh ink still drying on the canvas. For the first time in decades, his expression faltered. "So," he whispered, "you painted again." Master O stood between his brother and the unfinished portrait. "I told you never to return." Jaemin ignored him. Instead, he addressed the officers. "Please proceed." The lead officer nodded respectfully. "We have authorization to search the premises." Amma stepped forward. "Authorization for what?" The officer unfolded a document. "We're investigating the possible concealment of cultural assets belonging to the O Foundation." Master O laughed. It wasn't a joyful laugh. It was the sound of a man who had expected betrayal for years. "Cultural assets?" He looked around the studio. "You finally found a respectable name for greed." Jaemin sighed. "Brother, you spent 20 years pretending to protect our family's legacy." "I did." "No." Master O's voice sharpened. "You protected its fortune." One officer carefully began photographing every painting. Another wrote serial numbers. A third opened storage cabinets. Amma leaned toward Master O. "Is this real?" "Yes." "They can take your paintings?" "They'll certainly try. But they're yours." Master O looked at her with tired eyes. "In our family," he said quietly, "nothing truly belongs to the person who created it." The words struck Amma harder than she expected. She had never heard an artist speak of his own work with such sadness. One officer approached the cloth-covered painting. He reached toward the fabric. Master O moved instantly. "Don't." The officer paused. "We need to inspect every artwork." "Not that one." "I'm afraid we don't have a choice." Jaemin smiled almost imperceptibly. "Remove the cloth." Master O's voice thundered through the studio. "I said don't touch it." Even the officers froze. Amma had not seen that kind of fire in him before. For a brief moment, he no longer looked like a broken old man. He looked like the legendary artist whose name had once commanded the world's attention. The lead officer cleared his throat. "Master O, we're only doing our jobs." "I know." "Then please cooperate." Master O slowly lowered his head. "No." Jaemin folded his arms. "Then we'll do it ourselves." He stepped toward the painting. Amma reacted before she could think. She moved directly in front of it. Jaemin stopped. His eyes narrowed. "You should move." She shook her head. "No. This doesn't concern you. I don't know what's happening." "Exactly. So until I do," she said firmly, "I'm not letting anyone touch it." The room became silent. One of the officers whispered, "Should we remove her?" Jaemin raised a hand. "No." He looked directly at Amma. "You seem like an intelligent young woman." "I try." "Then allow me to ask you something." She nodded cautiously. "How long have you known my brother?" "Today." "And yet you're protecting his secrets?" "I don't even know his secrets." "Then why stand in my way?" Amma answered honestly. "Because the only person acting afraid in this room isn't him." Jaemin blinked. "It's you." For the first time, the old businessman had no immediate reply. Master O quietly smiled behind her. Very slightly, barely noticeable, but it was there. Jaemin recovered quickly. "You remind me of someone." Amma felt a chill. "So I've been told." "I wonder." He took one slow step closer. "Did your grandmother ever tell you about Korea?" "No." "Did she ever mention a painter?" "No." "Did she ever tell you why she refused to throw away one particular necklace?" Amma's eyes widened. "How do you know about that?" Master O suddenly looked at Amma. "You have it." She nodded slowly. "I always travel with it. My grandmother said never to lose it." Jaemin's smile disappeared. "Where is it now?" "In my hotel." "Bring it to me." She frowned. "Why would I do that?" "Because it belongs to this family." Master O immediately shook his head. "He's lying." Jaemin turned sharply. "Am I?" "Yes." "You know exactly whose necklace that is." "I do." "And you know why she kept it." "I do." Amma looked between the two brothers. "Will someone please tell me what's going on?" Neither answered. Instead, Jaemin reached into his coat pocket. He removed another old photograph. This one had been folded many times. He handed it to Amma. She unfolded it carefully. Her breath caught. It showed the same young Korean artist, the same young African woman. But this time, they weren't standing apart. They were laughing together. His forehead rested gently against hers. The happiness in their faces was unmistakable. Amma whispered, "They loved each other." Master O slowly closed his eyes. Jaemin answered, "Yes." Amma looked at him. "So why hide it?" "Because our family never accepted it." The room grew painfully quiet. "My father," Jaemin continued, "believed the O bloodline should remain pure." Amma stared at him in disbelief. "What?" "He spent his entire life building the family's reputation. And he believed my brother had destroyed it." Master O spoke softly. "I fell in love." Jaemin nodded. "With a woman our father considered unacceptable." Amma looked down at the photograph again. "My grandmother." Master O's voice trembled. "She wasn't a scandal. She was the greatest thing that ever happened to me." Amma's eyes filled with tears. "If you loved each other," she whispered, "why didn't you stay together?" Master O didn't answer. He couldn't. Jaemin did. "Because our father gave him a choice." Amma slowly looked up. "What choice?" "His family," Jaemin said coldly, "or the woman carrying his child." The photograph slipped from Amma's fingers. It fluttered onto the floor. "No," she whispered. "No." Master O's shoulders slumped. "I begged him." His voice broke. "I begged my father." Amma's eyes locked onto his. "What child?" The old painter couldn't even lift his head. Jaemin answered with brutal calm. "The child Akosua never told anyone about." Amma felt the room spinning. "My grandmother only had one child." "I know. My mother." "I know." "Then." Her voice shook. "What child are you talking about?" No one answered. Not immediately. Instead, Master O slowly walked toward the covered painting. His hands trembled as he removed the white cloth. Amma gasped. The portrait beneath was breathtaking. A young African woman stood beneath blooming cherry blossoms. She wore a simple yellow dress. She was smiling, not at the viewer, at the painter. Every brushstroke overflowed with love. Amma barely managed to whisper, "My grandmother." Master O nodded. "I painted this the day before she disappeared." Amma stepped closer. Then she noticed something strange. Akosua's right hand rested gently over her stomach. She wasn't simply posing. She was protecting something. Master O spoke without looking away from the painting. "When I painted this," his voice cracked, "she had just told me she was pregnant." Amma's knees nearly gave out. The officers stood frozen. Even Jaemin lowered his eyes. Master O continued, "I thought we would leave Korea together." "What happened?" Amma whispered through tears. The old painter answered with a grief that had never healed. "My father found out first." If this revelation has completely changed what you thought the story was about, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to Untold Afro-Korean Stories. And tell us in the comments, what do you think Master O's father did after discovering Akosua was pregnant? Whatever you're imagining, the truth is even more heartbreaking. Outside, another black sedan quietly pulled up to the estate. A woman stepped out. She removed her sunglasses and stared at the old house. One of the servants recognized her instantly. His face turned pale. He whispered, "She came back." Inside the studio, no one had yet realized that the one person who knew exactly what happened 20 years ago had finally returned to tell her side of the story. The studio door slid open before anyone could react. Every head turned at once. A woman in her late 60s stood at the entrance, dressed in a simple cream coat despite the growing crowd outside. Her silver hair was neatly tied back, and her calm eyes swept across the room until they settled on Master O. For several long seconds, neither of them spoke. The old painter looked as though he had seen another ghost. His lips parted. "You!" The woman gave him a sad smile. It's been a long time. Jaemin's face hardened instantly. What are you doing here? She didn't even look at him. Instead, she kept her eyes on Master O. I promised myself I would never return, Master O whispered. Then why now? She slowly turned toward Amma. Because she finally came. Amma frowned. You know me? The woman shook her head. No. But I've been waiting for you for 20 years. A chill ran through Amma's body. Who are you? My name is Han Sujin. Master O quietly lowered his head. Amma noticed immediately. You know her too? He nodded. She was. His voice faltered. My fiancée. The room erupted into stunned silence. Amma looked from Master O to the woman. You were engaged? Han Sujin answered before he could. Not because he loved me. Her voice carried no bitterness. Our parents arranged it. She smiled sadly. The only woman he ever loved was your grandmother. Amma struggled to process everything. Then why agree to marry? Master O laughed bitterly. I didn't. Han Sujin nodded. He refused. And your father? Amma asked. Master O's eyes darkened. My father didn't believe refusal was an option. Jaemin finally stepped forward. This conversation is over. Han Sujin turned toward him for the first time. No. It ended 20 years ago. No. You have no right to interfere. I've spent 20 years being silent. She took another step into the room. I'm done protecting your lies. Jaemin's jaw tightened. You should leave. She ignored him completely. Instead, she reached into her handbag and removed a thick brown envelope. Master O's breathing became uneven. You kept them? I couldn't burn them. She placed the envelope gently on the table. What are those? Amma asked. Han Sujin looked at her. Letters. From who? Your grandmother. Amma's eyes widened. My grandmother wrote letters? Every week. To who? To him. She looked at Master O. He never received a single one. Master O slowly staggered backward until he had to grip the table for support. No. His voice cracked. No. Han Sujin nodded through tears. They were intercepted. Master O stared at the old envelope as though it contained his entire life. I wrote to her too. I know. She never answered. She couldn't. Amma whispered. Who stopped the letters? No one answered. Not because they didn't know. Because they all looked at the same man. Jaemin remained perfectly still. It wasn't me, he said calmly. Master O lifted his head. Tell her. Jaemin didn't move. Tell her the truth. It changes nothing. It changes everything. Amma's voice trembled. Please. She looked at Jaemin. Did your family hide their letters? Jaemin sighed. My father did. Why? He believed distance would solve the problem. So he lied to both of them? Yes. Master O slowly sank into his chair. For 20 years, he had believed Akosua chose to abandon him. For 20 years, Akosua had likely believed exactly the same thing. Two people had lived with the same heartbreak because someone else decided they should. Amma wiped tears from her face. My grandmother waited for him. Everyone turned toward her. Every Sunday, her voice shook. She would sit outside after church. Master O looked up. She always wore the same necklace. Han Sujin closed her eyes. Oh, Amma continued. I used to ask her what she was waiting for. She swallowed hard. She would smile and say. Amma's voice broke. Sometimes promises lose their way before they reach the people who made them. Master O buried his face in his hands. A sob escaped before he could stop it. For 20 years, he had carried anger, regret, resentment. Now all of it collapsed beneath one unbearable truth. She had never stopped loving him. Han Sujin quietly opened the envelope. Inside were dozens of carefully folded letters. Some had never even been opened. She handed the first one to Master O. His fingers trembled so violently that he struggled to unfold it. The paper had yellowed with age. The handwriting was delicate. He recognized it instantly. Akosua. His eyes blurred with tears as he read aloud. My dearest O, I know you promised to meet me by the river before sunset today. You didn't come. I waited until the moon rose because I believed something must have happened. You are not the kind of man who breaks promises. So I will wait again tomorrow. Wherever you are, please don't stop loving me. Because I haven't stopped loving you. Master O could no longer continue. His tears fell onto the page. Han Sujin gently unfolded another letter. This one came 3 months later. She handed it to Amma. Amma read quietly. My love, the baby grows stronger every day. Sometimes I imagine you speaking to our child. Sometimes I imagine the 3 of us walking together beneath the cherry blossoms you loved so much. I don't know why you've disappeared, but I refuse to believe you've forgotten us. Amma covered her mouth. She could barely breathe. Master O whispered, Our child. His eyes slowly lifted toward Amma, then toward the portrait, then back to Amma again. A terrifying possibility entered his mind. He looked at Han Sujin. Did she? He couldn't finish. Han Sujin understood anyway. I don't know. You helped her leave. I did. Did she still have the baby? I never saw her again after she boarded the ship. Silence filled the room. Then Amma spoke. My mother. Everyone looked at her. My mother was born 8 months after my grandmother returned to Ghana. Master O stared at her. My grandmother always celebrated my mother's birthday in secret. She frowned. I never understood why. Han Sujin slowly whispered. When exactly was she born? Amma answered. Han Sujin's eyes widened. She turned toward Master O. The dates. His breathing stopped. They match. Jaemin suddenly interrupted. Enough. No one looked at him. I said enough. He stepped toward the table. This changes nothing. Master O stood. It changes everything. You have no proof. The letters. They prove only that they loved each other. The photograph. No. The portrait. No. Amma watched the brothers with growing confusion. If my grandmother really had his child, she whispered, then why are you so afraid? Jaemin looked directly into her eyes. For the first time since arriving, his mask disappeared. Pure fear replaced it. Because he finally understood what Master O had begun to suspect. If Amma's mother had truly been Master O's daughter, then Amma was not merely a traveler. She was the last living descendant of the O family's true bloodline. And under the original family trust, that changed everything. If this story has you questioning everything you thought you knew, make sure you like the video, subscribe to Untold Afro-Korean Stories, and tell us in the comments. Do you think Amma is really Master O's granddaughter? Or is there another twist waiting? Keep your theories coming, because the next revelation will put every member of the O family in danger. Jaemin suddenly reached inside his jacket. The officers tensed. Han Sujin stepped back. Master O instinctively moved in front of Amma. Jaemin slowly removed a small brass key. He stared at it for a long moment before speaking. There is one place, he said quietly, where the truth was buried. Master O's face lost all color. No. Jaemin nodded. Father made me swear I would never open it. He looked at Amma. But now. His voice became cold again. We're all going back to the room where your grandmother disappeared. No one moved. The brass key lay in Jaemin's open palm, catching the afternoon light. Master O stared at it as if it were a weapon. His voice was barely audible. I burned that key. Jaemin slowly closed his fingers around it. You burned a copy. Master O's eyes widened. There was another? Our father never trusted anyone. A bitter smile crossed Jaemin's face. Not even his own sons. Amma stepped forward. What room are you talking about? Neither brother answered immediately. Han Sujin finally broke the silence. The East Wing. Amma frowned. East Wing. There used to be another building behind this studio. Master O closed his eyes. It was demolished. Han Sujin nodded. On the outside. Amma looked confused. What does that mean? Jaemin spoke calmly. Our father ordered the building torn down. But he held up the brass key. He never destroyed the room underneath it. Amma felt a knot tighten in her stomach. Why? Master O whispered. Because that's where he ended my future. Silence swallowed the room. Even the officers exchanged uneasy glances. The lead officer lowered his notebook. Sir. He looked at Jaemin. Our warrant doesn't cover another property. Jaemin slipped the key into his pocket. It will. He turned toward the officers. I'll take responsibility. Master O laughed softly. You've always taken responsibility. His eyes hardened. Just never accountability. Outside, reporters surged toward the gates as the group emerged from the studio. Camera flashes exploded from every direction. Master O, who is the foreign woman? Is she your new student? Did you really paint again? Are the rumors true? Amma instinctively lowered her head. She had never experienced anything like it. Microphones stretched toward her. People shouted in Korean and English. One reporter yelled, Miss, are you the reason Master O ended 20 years of silence? Another shouted, Are you related to the O family? Before Amma could answer, Master O stepped in front of her. No more questions. One journalist called out, Master O, is it true she's the woman in your old paintings? The old painter stopped walking. He turned slowly. His answer stunned everyone. No. The crowd fell silent. Then he added, She's the reason those paintings existed. Gasps rippled through the reporters. Jaemin clenched his jaw. Get him inside the car. The convoy left the estate under a storm of flashing cameras. Inside the back seat, Amma finally found her voice. I don't understand any of this. Master O sat beside her, staring out the window. I know. You keep saying my grandmother loved you. She did. You keep saying your family separated you. They did. You think my mother might be your daughter. I do. Amma shook her head. But you're not certain. No. Then why are you looking at me like? She hesitated. Like you've already accepted it. Master O finally turned toward her. His eyes were wet. Because whether you're my granddaughter or not. He smiled sadly. You're the closest I've ever come to seeing Akosua again. Amma couldn't speak. The sincerity in his voice broke something inside her. She reached across the seat and gently took his hand. You know, she said softly, my grandmother never married. Master O looked at her. Never. Amma shook her head. When people asked why, her voice caught. She always said she'd already given her heart away. The old painter covered his eyes. 20 years. 20 years believing she had chosen another life. 20 years wasted. Han Sujin watched from the front passenger seat. Quiet tears rolled down her own face. She whispered, I'm sorry. Master O looked up. You have nothing to apologize for. I should have found you. You tried. I wasn't brave enough. You were the only one who helped her. She lowered her head. I still failed. No. He gently shook his head. You gave us hope. The cars finally stopped before a massive estate surrounded by ancient stone walls. Amma looked through the window. This is your family home? Master O answered quietly. It used to be. The estate looked less like a home and more like a fortress. Everything was symmetrical, perfect, cold. No children's laughter echoed through the gardens. No family photographs decorated the entrance. Even the servants moved in complete silence. Amma whispered, It doesn't feel lived in. Master O smiled bitterly. It wasn't. Jaemin led everyone through a long corridor lined with portraits of previous generations. Every painting carried the same expression. Pride, control, distance. Amma noticed something strange. There are no women. Jaemin didn't stop walking. There were. Then where are their portraits? Our father believed only the heads of the family deserved walls. Amma frowned. What about their wives? They served the family. And their daughters? They married into other families. Amma looked around again. So they disappeared? No one answered. Master O quietly said, Our father erased anyone who didn't fit the story he wanted history to remember. They reached the end of the corridor. A large grandfather clock stood against the wall. Jaemin stopped before it. This is it. Amma looked around. I don't see a room. Without a word, Jaemin inserted the brass key into a tiny lock hidden beneath the clock face. Click. The entire clock shifted several inches. A hidden doorway appeared behind it. Cold air drifted from the darkness below. Amma stared. A secret passage. Master O whispered. I prayed I'd never see this again. The staircase descended deep beneath the mansion. Dust covered every step. The smell of old wood and forgotten years filled the air. Nobody spoke. Only footsteps echoed through the darkness. At the bottom waited a thick steel door. Unlike the rest of the traditional house, this door looked almost industrial. Jaemin placed his hand against it. Our father ordered this room sealed forever. Master O looked at him. Then why open it now? Jaemin answered honestly. Because if I don't. He glanced toward Amma. Someone else eventually will. The heavy door groaned open. Amma expected darkness. Instead, the room looked untouched. Everything remained exactly where someone had left it 20 years earlier. A wooden desk, a vase of dried flowers, books, an old record player, a folded blanket. It looked less like a prison, and more like a bedroom. Amma slowly stepped inside. What is this place? Han Sujin whispered. This is where your grandmother spent her last 3 weeks in Korea. Amma turned sharply. What? Master O lowered his head. Our father locked her here. Her heart stopped. No! He said it was for the family's reputation. Amma looked around in horror. You mean? She wasn't allowed to leave. Tears filled Amma's eyes. My grandmother! She ran her fingers across the desk. Everything was covered in dust except one spot. A single leather journal rested there, perfectly clean, as though someone had touched it recently. Amma looked at Jaemin. You've been here. He nodded. Every year. Why? I couldn't bring myself to throw it away. Master O frowned. You never told me. I couldn't. Why? Because I read it. Silence. Jaemin picked up the journal with both hands. It changed everything I believed about father. He slowly handed it to Amma. It's hers. Amma's fingers trembled as she opened the first page. The handwriting matched the letters. Akosua. She began reading aloud. Day 1. They locked the door today. Mr. O told me love is temporary, but family honor lasts forever. I told him love is the only honor worth protecting. He laughed. Amma swallowed hard. She turned another page. Day 5. I can hear O playing the piano from somewhere outside. He doesn't know I'm here. I screamed until my voice disappeared. He never came. Not because he didn't want to, because they never let him know. Master O sank into a chair. His shoulders shook uncontrollably. Amma continued reading through her own tears. Day 11. The baby kicked today. I placed my hand on my stomach and imagined O doing the same. If our child ever asks about their father, I will tell them he never abandoned us. Because I know he never would. Even Jaemin looked away. The room had become unbearably quiet. Amma turned to the final written page. Her voice faltered. There is one thing I haven't told anyone. She stopped. The page ended abruptly. The next page had been torn out. Then another. Then another. Nearly 20 pages were missing. Amma looked up. They've been removed. Master O slowly turned toward his brother. Where are they? Jaemin didn't answer. Where are the missing pages? His silence was answer enough. Master O's voice rose. What did father write? Jaemin shook his head. He didn't. Then who did? After 20 years of carrying the secret alone, Jaemin finally spoke. I did. If you've stayed with this story to this point, you're witnessing the moment everything changes. Like the video if you're invested, subscribe to Untold Afro-Korean stories, and tell us in the comments. Why do you think Jaemin tore those pages out? Was he protecting himself? Or protecting someone else? The answer will reshape everything you've believed about him. Master O stared at his brother in disbelief. You! Jaemin nodded slowly. I tore them out. Why? His voice was almost a whisper. Because the last thing Akosua wrote, he looked directly at Amma, wasn't addressed to you. The room fell completely silent. It wasn't addressed to my brother. He took a slow breath. It was addressed. His voice broke for the very first time. To me. The words hung in the underground room like a weight no one could carry. It was addressed to me. Amma stared at Jaemin in disbelief. Master O's face twisted with confusion. What are you talking about? Jaemin didn't answer immediately. He walked toward the old desk and rested one hand on its dusty surface. For the first time in decades, the confident businessman looked tired. Not physically, emotionally, like a man who had spent 20 years carrying a burden too heavy to put down. Master O took one slow step toward him. What did she write? Jaemin closed his eyes. I've replayed those words every day since father died. Then say them. I don't know if I can. You owe us that much. Jaemin slowly nodded. You're right. He looked at Amma. I owe all of you. He took a deep breath. When I came down here that last night, his voice became distant, as though he were speaking from another lifetime. I wasn't sent by father. Everyone looked at him. I came because I wanted to see for myself the woman who had destroyed our family. Amma frowned. My grandmother didn't destroy anything. I know that now. But I didn't then. His eyes filled with regret. I was only 26. I believed everything father ever taught me. I believed love made people weak. I believed duty came before happiness. I believed my brother had disgraced us. He laughed bitterly. I was so proud of myself. Master O remained silent. I opened that door. Jaemin continued. And I expected to find a manipulative woman. What I found instead, he swallowed hard, was someone knitting tiny baby clothes. Amma felt tears forming again. Jaemin smiled sadly. She looked up. She smiled. And the first thing she said to me was, his voice cracked as he repeated the memory. You must be O's younger brother. No one spoke. I asked her why she smiled. Jaemin whispered. She said. He paused. Because family should never meet as strangers. Master O slowly lowered his head. Jaemin continued. I told her she would never become part of our family. And she didn't argue. I told her father would never accept her. She simply nodded. I told her my brother would eventually forget her. His eyes overflowed with tears. And do you know what she said? Amma whispered. What? Jaemin looked directly at Master O. Then you don't know your brother at all. Silence. I asked her why she trusted him so much. She smiled again. And she said, because love isn't measured by how easy it is to stay. It's measured by how impossible it is to leave. Master O quietly covered his face. Jaemin continued speaking through tears. I had never heard anyone speak like that. I had never seen someone locked inside a room worrying more about other people than herself. I asked if she hated our family. And she laughed. Han Sujin smiled faintly. That sounds like Akosua. Jaemin nodded. She said, hatred grows too heavy after a while. I'd rather carry hope. Amma whispered. That's exactly how Grandma spoke. Jaemin reached into his jacket. Everyone tensed. Instead of removing a weapon, he carefully unfolded several old, fragile pages. The missing pages. Master O stared at them. You kept them. I couldn't destroy them. Read them. No. Read them. Jaemin slowly handed the pages to Amma. They belong to you now. Amma carefully unfolded the first page. Her grandmother's handwriting remained steady despite everything she had endured. She began reading aloud. If you are reading this, then something has happened to me before I could return these words myself. I know you are O's younger brother. I also know you are not your father. One day you will have to choose between protecting your family's name or protecting your family's soul. Amma looked up. Jaemin quietly nodded. I failed. She continued. If you choose the first, history will remember your family. If you choose the second, your family might finally deserve to be remembered. Master O wiped tears from his face. Amma turned another page. If my child survives, please don't let them inherit hatred. Please don't teach them to resent anyone, especially not their father. Her voice trembled. He never abandoned us. He simply never knew where we were. The room had become almost unbearable. Even the officers standing nearby quietly wiped their eyes. Amma unfolded the final page. At the bottom, a small hand-drawn cherry blossom branch stretched across the paper. Below it were the last words Akosua ever wrote. O's little brother, if you ever find him again, tell him I kept my promise. I loved him until my final day. Master O collapsed to his knees. A lifetime of regret poured out in silent sobs. Amma rushed to him. She knelt beside him. Without thinking, she wrapped her arms around him. He held her tightly. Neither of them spoke. Words had become too small. After several minutes, Master O finally whispered, I should have found her. Amma gently shook her head. My grandmother never blamed you. I blamed myself. I know. I still do. She looked into his eyes. Then stop carrying a punishment she never gave you. The old painter stared at her. Those words, they sounded exactly like Akosua. For the first time in 20 years, he allowed himself to believe forgiveness might actually exist. Han Sujin quietly smiled through tears. She would have been proud of you. Amma looked at her. Do you really think so? I know so. She laughed softly. Your grandmother once told me something. What was it? One day my grandchildren will finish conversations I never got to finish myself. Amma smiled through her tears. I think she was right. Suddenly, one of the officers clearing dust from a nearby cabinet called out. Sir. Everyone turned. I think you should see this. He held up a small locked metal box. Unlike everything else in the room, carried the official seal of the O family. Jaemin's expression changed instantly. No! Master O slowly stood. What is it? Jaemin whispered. I hoped father destroyed it. The lead officer examined the box. The lock has already rusted. He carefully forced it open. Inside lay a birth certificate. Amma frowned. My mother's. Master O picked it up carefully. His hands shook so badly he almost dropped it. He read the document once. Then again. Then a third time. His eyes widened. This? He looked at Amma. This can't be. What? The old painter slowly handed the document to her. There is no father's name. Amma nodded. I know. My grandmother never filled it in. Master O shook his head. Look closer. She did. Her breathing stopped. Under the section marked place of birth, it didn't say Ghana. It didn't even mention Africa. It read, Busan, Republic of Korea. Amma stared at the paper. No, she whispered. My mother. She looked at Master O. Was born here? Han Sujin gasped. That's impossible. Jaemin took the document. His face turned pale. It means. He couldn't finish. Master O slowly looked toward the old room where Akosua had been imprisoned. Then back at Amma. With tears streaming down his face, he whispered, She never left Korea pregnant. Everyone stared at him. He continued, She left Korea. His voice broke completely. Carrying a newborn baby. The room fell silent. Every assumption they had made over the past few hours had just been shattered. If Amma's mother had been born in Korea, then someone had helped Akosua give birth in secret. Someone had hidden both mother and child. Someone else knew the truth. And that someone had never spoken. If you've made it this far, you're witnessing the biggest turning point in the story. If you're enjoying this journey, like the video, subscribe to Untold Afro-Korean Stories, and let us know in the comments. Who do you think secretly helped Akosua give birth and escape Korea? Your theories have been incredible so far. But the final chapter will reveal a truth that no one in that room was prepared to face. Before anyone could speak again, a servant came running down the staircase, completely out of breath. Master! He struggled to catch his breath. There's... What is it? The media. They've found her. Amma frowned. Found who? The servant looked directly at her. Your grandmother. Amma's heart nearly stopped. What are you talking about? The servant swallowed hard. A woman in Ghana has just gone on live television. He held up his phone. She says. His voice trembled. She's Akosua Mensah. The room froze. Master O stared at the screen. Only one thought echoed through his mind. The dead had just spoken. The phone trembled in the servant's hand. No one in the underground room moved. No one even seemed to breathe. Amma stared at the screen. This isn't possible. Master O slowly reached for the phone. His fingers shook so badly that Han Sujin gently helped him hold it steady. A live television broadcast filled the screen. The reporter stood outside a modest home in Ghana, speaking excitedly into the camera. Behind her, an elderly woman sat quietly beneath a large mango tree. She wore a simple white dress. Her silver hair was wrapped in a colorful headscarf. She looked tired, peaceful, and unmistakably familiar. Amma whispered, "Grandma." Tears streamed down her face. "No!" Master O's knees weakened. The old painter leaned against the wall to keep himself from collapsing. The camera zoomed in. The elderly woman looked directly into it. Her smile had never changed. Master O covered his mouth. "Akosua?" The reporter asked gently. "People in Korea believed you died many years ago. Why have you decided to speak now?" The old woman smiled softly. "Because silence has protected the wrong people long enough." The room fell silent again. Akosua continued. "I was never dead. I simply kept my promise." Amma whispered, "What promise?" Master O answered before the television could. "Mine." Everyone turned toward him. 20 years of memories returned all at once. "I asked her something the night before everything changed." His voice trembled. "I told her." He smiled through tears. "If the world ever tries to separate us, promise me you'll keep living." He closed his eyes. She promised. The reporter asked another question. "Did you ever stop loving Master O?" Akosua laughed softly. "That question has the easiest answer of my life." She looked toward the sky before speaking. "I never spent a single day without loving him." Master O broke down completely. Amma wrapped her arm around him as he wept openly. Jaemin quietly turned away. He had witnessed his brother cry before. Never like this. The reporter continued. "Then why stay silent for 20 years? Akosua took a slow breath. "Because someone came to see me." The room became still. She continued. "A young man. He carried more guilt than anger. He apologized for a father who never would." Jaemin slowly lowered his head. Akosua smiled gently. "He asked me not to destroy what remained of his family." I looked at him, and I realized he had become another victim. He wasn't asking me to forgive evil. He was asking me to stop hatred from claiming another generation. Amma looked toward Jaemin. He couldn't meet her eyes. Akosua continued. "So we made a promise. I would disappear. He would protect every letter, every photograph, every painting. And if fate ever brought our families together again," she smiled, "he would finally tell the truth." Amma slowly turned toward Jaemin. "You." His voice broke. "I couldn't save your grandmother. I couldn't save my brother. The only thing left," he struggled to continue, "was protecting the evidence until the day someone deserved to know it." Master O stared at him. "You carried this alone?" Jaemin nodded. "I deserved to. You should have told me. I wanted to. Why didn't you?" "Because every year I tried." His voice cracked. "I remembered Father's last words." Amma frowned. "What did he say?" Jaemin answered without hesitation. "If the truth ever comes out, our family name dies." Master O slowly walked toward his younger brother. For years, he had imagined this moment differently. He had imagined anger, blame, resentment. Instead, he saw only another old man who had been trapped by the same family. "You should have trusted me." Jaemin nodded. "I know. You were wrong. I know. You stole 20 years from us. I know. Tears rolled down Jamin's face. I've known every day. Master O looked at him for a long moment. Then, he embraced him. The room froze. Jamin stood completely still. I don't deserve this. Master O quietly answered. Neither do I. The brothers held each other for the first time since they were young men. Years of bitterness dissolved into grief. Amma wiped her eyes. Han Sujin smiled through her tears. This is what she wanted. Master O stepped back. No. Everyone looked at him. This isn't enough. He turned toward Amma. We're going to Ghana. Amma blinked. What? I'm done living through memories. He smiled. If Akosua kept her promise. His eyes shone with hope. It's finally time I keep mine. 2 weeks later, the entire world watched. News stations across Asia and Africa covered the story that had remained hidden for more than 20 years. Not because of scandal, because of forgiveness. Master O refused every interview. He accepted only one request, to travel quietly to Ghana. Amma insisted they avoid the cameras. This isn't for the world. She smiled. It's for family. When they arrived, the small village had already gathered. Children played beneath the trees. Women prepared food outside their homes. Old men smiled knowingly. Felt nothing like the cold mansion in Seoul. Master O looked around. So this is where she built her life. Amma nodded. She loved it here. They walked slowly toward the mango tree. An elderly woman sat with her back turned. She was humming softly, the same melody Master O used to play on the piano. He stopped walking. His voice barely escaped. Akosua. The humming stopped. Very slowly, she turned around. Their eyes met. Neither of them spoke. Neither of them ran. Time itself seemed to pause. Akosua smiled first. You've gotten old. Master O laughed through tears. So have you. She stood carefully. You took your time. I know. I waited. I know. You still owe me one painting. Master O smiled. I brought my brushes. She laughed. So. You finally remembered. I never forgot. He walked toward her. She walked toward him. When they embraced, no applause came. No dramatic music. Only the quiet sound of two hearts finally finding the peace they had been denied for decades. Amma quietly stepped back. Han Sujin stood beside her. They deserved that. Amma nodded. They always did. Months later, Master O shocked the art world one final time. He unveiled a single new portrait. Not in Seoul. Not in New York. Not in Paris. He chose a small cultural center in Ghana. Collectors offered millions. Museums competed for it. He refused every offer. This one isn't for sale. Reporters asked why. He smiled. Some paintings belong to history. They're not meant to belong to people. The portrait showed an elderly Ghanaian woman sitting beneath a mango tree. She wasn't looking at the artist. She was looking toward the horizon, waiting, just as she always had. At the bottom corner, instead of signing only his own name, Master O wrote to Ojihun, Akosua Mensah. When reporters asked why both names appeared on the painting, he simply answered, because she finished every brushstroke I couldn't. The portrait traveled the world, not as a symbol of lost love, but as proof that hatred can delay the truth, can never erase it. The O Foundation announced sweeping reforms. Its old succession rules were abolished. Scholarships were created for young artists across Africa and Korea. An annual cultural exchange program was established in Akosua's name. Master O never painted another portrait again. Not because he had lost his gift, because he had finally fulfilled the promise he made beneath the cherry blossoms decades earlier. The only portrait he ever needed to complete was hers. If you made it all the way here, I need you to do something for me right now. Like this video. Comment where you're watching from and tell me the moment that touched you the most. And subscribe to Untold.